Hi, I am Rachel and this is Angel with 7 in All, and today we're going to be doing a Q&A video for you, answering some of the questions that you guys have asked a couple weeks ago when I asked for your questions, and we're filming today. Okay.
First question.
So we're going to start with the first question, which was, how do you make time for each other in this crazy season? And what I want to know is, how could you tell? How did you know it was a crazy season with 2 toddlers and grad school and starting a small business and all that normal young parenthood? So,
how do we make time for each other? That's a good question. We are making time for each other right now.
Right now, doing this Q&A, and we are actually on a quick getaway for our 11th wedding anniversary. So I guess this is how we make time for each other. We do have a tradition of going away for like 2 nights every anniversary. We've done that almost every year that we've been married. But in general, I would say it's hard making time for each other.
Because you're asking, the question is, how do we make time? We actually, thankfully, we have grandparents that are nearby, and it's they who make time for us, which is really nice and helpful. And if it weren't for them, I don't know, we'd have to find a different way, which would be very difficult.
Yes, definitely. We were very intentional. We wanted to live close to my parents when we had young children, and we're very glad that we get to. We moved across the world kind of in order to be able to do that. It was maybe excessive commitment to wanting some good babysitters. But we are very thankful for them. They make it possible for us to be able to do this. But in general, I think I would say, along with parents of young children everywhere, it is challenging. Like, we'll sit down on the couch to do a Bible study together, and the 2 boys who have been happily playing with their toys suddenly are like, let's jump on Mama and Papa.
Yes. Yes.
It's like a magnetic attraction. We're about to, relax and have some quality time together.
Yes, it's like, we're going to take 10 minutes to do our devotional together, and in those 10 minutes,
a lot happens.
They will not leave us alone. So we try, we do, but
there are different seasons. Yeah. There are different seasons for different things.
Yeah.
Different seasons.
Next question. Do we want more kids?
Okay. This is always the question. I feel like this is just the traditional question to ask any YouTuber who's having a Q&A. And I'll take this one because this is something that's very much on my heart, which is what I have learned through the long journey to having our boys, is that we are very, very much not in control of how many children we have, or if we even get to bring home all of our babies. I come from a big family, so I think there's this definite expectation, not so much from my family or my parents, but from the outside world of like, what? You only have 2 kids? Like, that's nothing. Where's the rest? But I have really come to see that every single baby is a miracle and a gift, and we don't feel like this is all that there will be. But if it is, we will be happy.
Yeah.
We will be thankful for the ones that we got to keep. And I think we definitely do hope that this won't be all.
Yes. Next question.
Why are we passionate about raising bilingual kids, and what is the goal?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, why are we passionate about raising bilingual kids? Well, oh man.
So you grew up bilingual.
Yeah, I grew up bilingual, and it gives me a lot of wiggle room. It gives me a lot of opportunities to meet and interact with people and
So you've used both of your languages in most of your jobs in adulthood.
Yeah. So I guess you could say, as career-wise, it's definitely made me more attractive. Socially, it's made me more
You've been able
sociable.
to have more relationships.
More relationships.
With two different communities.
So and academically, I think it's definitely helped me. So I think there's been a lot of benefits to it, and I think another one is my identity as who I define myself has been very much like I can choose this and I can choose that, and
so you are both a Spanish speaker and an English speaker. You are American, but you are also very strongly connected to the Mexican American community and your whole family and the larger family. You can walk into any carniceria or panaderia and you feel comfortable, you feel at home there. And so I think the reason we are passionate about raising bilingual kids is because of how you grew up bilingual and you were educated mainly all in English, but you spoke Spanish at home. We obviously have a different dynamic because I did not grow up bilingual. I did not grow up with any ties. I don't have any ties to the Mexican culture until he's my Thai. So it's different. Our dynamic is different because we've always spoken English in our relationship since we first met. And now Spanish has become much more of a part of our lives, kind of again, since becoming parents. And so, I think basically because of you, now we are passionate about raising bilingual kids, and the goal is that they will be fluent in both languages. I do not expect that they will be as good at Spanish as someone who was growing up in Mexico or growing up in a Spanish-speaking country or having like Spanish-speaking teachers and education the whole way through would be. That's not realistic and that's not going to happen. But I do want to continue with incorporating Spanish into our homeschool life, into our life all the way through, so they aren't just at a surface level of understanding, but they are able to be quite confident in the language as well.
Yeah. So the goal is, I mean, it's part of who I am as a parent, and they are, I guess there are boys, and so I guess part of parenting and part of having kids is passing along
the legacy,
what we are to them, and that's kind of it. So, yeah.
And then this question kind of ties into it. How did we meet? Because we grew up in very, very different kind of cultures, different families, in different ways. We met in college on technically my very first day of college as a 17-year-old freshman. He was advertising a Bible study, and I signed up for the Bible study. And then I went to the Bible study every week, and we became friends.
Yep. And
then it all, as my grandpa said at our wedding, he said, I told Rachel before she went to college, no smoking, no drinking, and no boys, but I neglected to warn her about boys at Bible study. So, and that's the story. That's the short story.
All right. Yeah.
Are we ever planning to visit Mexico? It would be fun.
It would be fun, and I would love it. I wouldn't mind living there. It's just we're really far away from Mexico.
It's really far away right now, so it is hard to think of getting enough like money and time.
I mean, visiting would be okay, but I don't know.
It said visit Mexico.
All right.
But I think he's thinking living in Mexico.
I'm thinking, because I wanted to benefit my boys a little bit.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Spending some extended time there. He still has family in Mexico.
Yes.
So I think definitely if we could ever, we would definitely love to go and meet your family, and I'd like to sightsee. I've never been at all to Mexico. You've been to Mexico, what, dozens?
Yes,
dozens of times.
Been to Zacatecas and Jalisco, Guadalajara, and a lot of Tijuana. So a lot of the border towns in Southern California. So yeah, Tijuana for sure. Yes.
But we still have not made it there together yet, but hopefully someday. I mean, pretty much if you ask me, do you want to visit anywhere? I will say yes. The problem is time and money, and we live far away from a lot of places. Would you consider putting your kids in school? This is a really good question because he actually works at a school, so we would always have the option of putting our kids in the school where he works. We can't put our kids in public school because we live overseas and the public schools are not very open to foreigners, and if they are, then the main language that they're taught in is not English. So public schools are not really even option for where we live, but your school is. And I wouldn't say that we would never consider it.
No, and we had this conversation this morning actually, and I didn't even know this was part of it, but I said possibly, but as I've been there for quite a number of years, there are some positive aspects and negative aspects, and I think it's the same with homeschooling too, but definitely with the traditional public or public type of school, at the moment, at this time in life, at what I'm valuing with what's childhood and like give and take of these things and that things, the answer at the moment would be no, and that's just based on flexibility, based on you being able to drive still. There's so many other things too.
Yeah. And you teach at a very, very good school. It's a very high quality education, I believe.
Oh yeah.
But the factors for us right now, big ones are I have the freedom and I have the ability to homeschool, to teach. Another factor is for bilingual education, they would lose a lot of their Spanish, and we know this, if they were suddenly in school 8 hours a day speaking English the whole time. School in English is a big factor for bilingual families struggling with kids being able to continue with strong bilingualism. And number 3, I do really genuinely believe in homeschool. I really like it.
Yes.
I really like the ability for kind of a more extended childhood, more extended just kind of freedom to play and flexibility and freedom to grow and to learn at your own rate. And we do know there could come a time in life if they would have to be in school. We've thought about if I had another complicated pregnancy, like with my second son, we could have to choose to put them in school because if I wouldn't be able to fully take care of them. I don't know. I hope that we don't have to put them in school, and we don't plan to at this moment because we do. I really like this homeschool thing. I really do love the freedom and the flexibility that it gives, and I love getting to be with them all day long.
Yes.
and teach them. Another question was, will you introduce your kids to any other foreign languages? So we do Spanish and English. We speak those at home, both. We educate in both of those at home very seriously, but would I do any other? And I would definitely say yes. I would be very eager to introduce them to Mandarin Chinese, and I'm thinking maybe around kindergarten or first grade, I will start jumping into introducing that more probably in the traditional foreign language teaching way, rather than in the just plain old speaking it to them. Like we have done Spanish very differently than you would teach a foreign language, because we've spoken it to them and sung it to them and read books in it to them since birth. There are families who successfully do 3 languages from the very beginning. But because we have so little access to a Spanish community, I wanted to give Spanish quite a long time to get a head start before we introduce anything else. We have plenty of opportunity to see Chinese or to hear Mandarin Chinese spoken where we live. So I am pretty much planning on about kindergarten, first grade, just starting to introduce vocabulary and phrases and work on slowly building into that as their more foreign language. Oh, and someone did ask that they wanted to know more about my siblings, because as some of you know, the actual 7 in all title referred to me and my siblings to begin with many years ago when this channel started. And I am one of 8 siblings. I'm the oldest, and then it goes from me all the way down to the youngest, who is 10 years old and in 5th grade. I can just tell you a little bit about them. We are mostly all girls. There are 7 sisters and just 1 brother right in the middle of us. And most of the crew is now all graduated from high school and homeschool, and we're all pretty much in our 20s. I've kind of tipped off the upper edge of the 20s. The rest of them are all, sprinkled in there throughout the middle. But then we also have a 15-year-old and a 10-year-old who are in 10th grade and in 5th grade. So that's kind of the short story on the big family that I come from. And so on this channel, you will often hear me giving reports to you on what the 10th grader and the 5th grader are doing in their schoolwork. And the rest of them, they're in college or past college and working and having all sorts of fun adventures. We are a very, very close and tight-knit family, although we are spread quite far across the world from each other. I do still think that homeschooling gave us the foundation of being very, very close and tight-knit. We love and respect each other a whole lot. I am the classic big sister who both would want to protect them from anything bad happening to them, and is also like, yeah, that's my little sister, that's my little brother, doing all these amazing things all the time. Like the artist one who just made all the Christmas paintings for our Christmas unit. She's awesome. Does Angel help with homeschool in any way?
In any way, yes, I do. In a 50-50, probably not as much.
You translate the purely preschool units into
Yeah, okay.
preescolar, so that is a big help.
That is a big help, yes, but it's not a lot of lifting, I would say. But yes, I do translate a lot of the purely preschool, and at times, there's been lots of times where I just ask my parents for some translation help, because there are some things that are just so obscure, or my parents didn't teach me anything in that subject area, but they were taught that, so they know all of the words for that. So yeah.
So you help a lot with then the Spanish product creation. Where'd you learn that? So, and which does help with homeschool, because I use our Spanish products in our homeschool. So that's one way you help with homeschool. But kind of our daily routine of how you get involved in homeschool is in the evening when you come home from work and after dinner. We already have started with the routine of
reading in Spanish. And going through any kind of books that I bring home. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I do read with them. And then I also talk with the boys in Spanish about what they learned. Mm-hmm.
So he asks them, what did they learn today? And also, I usually have my little schedule filled out, and Angel can look at that, and so you can ask them questions about specifically what he saw that we did. What did you make with Play-Doh today? Or different things like that. So we kind of review our homeschool day with Dad when he comes home. And I think that's super, super helpful. That's kind of the narration. That's the early beginnings of narration, is being able to tell Dad at the end of the day, what did you do? What did you learn? What did you read about in the day? So that's kind of your role in our tradition.
Yeah, I mean, if it's during the summer, then actually have a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And that's, but lately it's been mostly when I get home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I think the last question, what's our favorite date night meal?
Date night meal. I think we have different date night meals.
Okay, what's yours?
I would say hamburgers. I mean, what? Any kind of burger.
Okay, that's your just favorite restaurant meal, right? Like any kind of.
I mean, here it's probably just Chili's.
Yeah, but hamburgers is your favorite meal to order from a restaurant.
Yes.
I think for actual restaurants that we kind of have gone back to for date night, there's a Chinese noodle restaurant that we like to go back to for noodles, and there's a good pizza place that's like homemade pizzas. and we've actually gone to that place for our anniversary a couple of times.
Mhm.
They've got good pizzas. And I don't eat hamburgers. But that's always, he's like,
Yeah.
if there's a hamburger on the menu, he'll go there.
Yep.
That's his favorite. So thank you for watching this. I hope you found it fun and interesting, and you can chat with me down in the comments below. Chat with me more about homeschool, bilingual homeschool, cross-cultural living, and all that fun stuff that we go into on the 7 and All channel. And we'll be seeing you later. Bye.
Bye.